Hello and welcome. Today's video is all things fall. We are doing my top 10 favorite fall eyeshadow palettes. I love fall time. I don't know about you guys, but it's my favorite season. I get most excited for, I think, fall makeup. Like out of all the trends and things, I love a good brown, smoky eye, kind of like I have on today. I love orangey tones. I love berry tones. And just for me, fall is my favorite time when it comes to makeup. And I am so excited to share with you guys 10 of my favorite eyeshadow palettes that I reach for in the fall time. This is also a collab, which is super exciting. My friend Christina on YouTube decided to go ahead and do this video as well, and we are teaming up together. So I'm going to share my 10 palettes, and then over on her channel, she is going to share her favorite 10 palettes for fall. If you aren't subscribed to Christina's channel, I definitely recommend you do so. She does some really great videos. First off, I love her Make Up Your Mind series. It's a really cool series that she does where she basically goes through the new eyeshadow palettes that are coming out and she talks them through with you guys. She shows comparisons to other palettes that she has in her collections. And she also shows eye looks, what I think is really cool. So she'd do an eye look inspired by that palette and can I get this out of the collection that I already have? It's a really great series and I really think it helps to kind of think about. A lot of times she uses palettes that I have and I'm like, I could do that same look. And it also is just a great little thing to kind of help you if you are on the fence about a palette. I feel like she gives a lot of useful information in those. She also does some amazing clothing hauls, which I love. Her style is just amazing. So she is just such a sweetheart. I love following her and definitely recommend you guys check her out as well. I will have her channel linked down below and be sure to head over there because she's going to be showing her 10 fall palettes as well. So let's go ahead and start with mine. So up first, I have for you guys the Latte palette from Dominique Cosmetics. This is actually one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes in my collection, but I especially reach for this in the fall time because I feel like this is just the perfect fall palette. So first off, you actually have a lot of those orangey tones, those pumpkin-y tones that I feel like we love to do in the fall time, but I also love berry looks. And I feel like this purple in here is just perfect mixed with these browns to create a really nice, fun, purpley berry type of look. I also really love the shimmers in here. This is just such a good quality palette. Highly, highly recommend her formula. It's very easy to work with. I feel like her mattes are so easy to blend out that it's foolproof. You can just go in really quick, create a really simple eye look, but it looks like you took all day to do it. If you are coming from Christina's channel and you do not know what happens on my channel, I am a mom and my 9-month-old loves to scream in the background. So if you hear him screaming, he's fine. He's with dad. He just does this really high-pitched scream that he does all the time when he's happy. So he's excited, he's playing, he's yelling, so we're just gonna continue on. Up next, I have for you guys the Naked Honey palette from Urban Decay. Again, I feel like this is perfect for fall times. I like this one because it has those yellow tones in it, but it also still has the orangey tones that I love so much for this season. There's something about these Naked palettes, I feel like they're just so easy to create looks with. Again, they're kind of effortless. I feel like it's really easy to just go in with a couple shades really quick, pop a shimmer on the lid, and just be done. And I feel like the tones in here, again, are perfect for fall. I just feel like this is just one that I find myself reaching for a lot in this season. And then we're gonna move on to the palette that I actually have on my eyes today, and that is the Toasted palette from Tarte. This is another great one. This is kind of more of your orangey, smoky type of palette. So I have this all over my eyes for the look I created. I will say that when I was using this palette, it's been a minute since I picked it up, probably last fall, honestly. This isn't the easiest palette to work with. It does take a little bit more work, I feel like, than a lot of these other palettes I'm mentioning, but it's still pretty and I feel like the tones of it are still gorgeous and I just love the look I came up with. I feel like it's very dark, very smoky, crunchy, and I feel like you can create some more softer looks with this one as well. It's just not my absolute favorite formula when it comes to the mattes. I feel like they're a little bit patchy when you get into those darker shades, but if you are a little bit more skilled and you kind of don't mind taking the extra effort, I feel like you can create some really great looks with this. It just takes a little bit more time than some of the other palettes I'm going to mention. Okay, the next palette that I have from you, I'm going to hold my hand here because it's going to glare a lot. This is from Sultry, and this is actually their Glamour Goddess palette, and this is a newer one to me, but I already know I'm going to be reaching for this one a bunch come this fall season. So this is just your neutral everyday type of palette, but what's really nice about it is it has some of those deeper brown shades and more of those orangey pumpkin-y shades that I really love so much. It also has this really pretty shade right here that I feel like would just look so perfect for a cranberry eye. This one does have a highlight and a blush in here as well that I love using. Both of those are really stunning. And what's really cool about this palette is they actually named a shade after me. So if you put this over top, this shade right here is actually called Molly, and I feel like that's the perfect shade that I love so much in this palette. So that was just really fun. I am an affiliate with Doll10. If you want to purchase anything on their website, it is just Molly Doll15 to get 15% off. But I love this palette. It's one I know I'm going to be reaching for a ton come this fall season. Okay, we couldn't do a fall makeup video without talking about the Sultry palettes. This is one that I feel like I reach for a lot when it comes to this season, but also when it comes to like Christmassy and more leaning towards like the winter season. I feel like this is a great palette for that as well. Like I mentioned, I love a good like brown smoky eye. I feel like that's what I think of when I think of fall, that and like orangey tones. So this one has some really, really great brown shades in there to create those looks with. And I just feel like you can't go wrong with this formula. It's very, again, very easy to work with, very pigmented. A little bit goes a long way. The shimmers are very foiled and very nice. And I just feel like this is just a staple in my collection. I've recommended it a ton. It's probably actually one of my top 5 favorite palettes ever. I love this one so much. I know that Sultry isn't like actually available everywhere, but I know you can still get your hands on it. So I do want to mention that. And also just because some of these palettes you might already have in your collection and it might re-inspire you to bring them back out. Like say Sultry might be something you already own. I am going to move into some more affordable palettes though. So up next I have from Essence. This is the Spice Up Your Life eyeshadow palette. These ones are really great from Essence. If you haven't tried them, there's quite a few to the line, but here is what this one looks like. And obviously with the name alone, I feel like you just know it's going to be a fall type of palette, but this one in particular, I feel like it's just like every shade I would want for fall is in here because it has those deeper like berry shades over here, and then you have the yellows and the greens that I like to tend to go to too, but then you also have your deeper plums and your browns, and then you have some more like lighter tones over here. I just feel like everything you need for fall is right in this palette, and the formula is really nice and it's affordable. I think these retail for $10, so this is definitely a great one. You can find Essence at Ulta Beauty. Okay, we had to mention a Colourpop palette, of course, because I love me some Colourpop, and this is the one that I feel like I'm going to be reaching for a bunch. I don't know if this came out last fall or if this one came out in the winter time. I can't exactly remember, but this is their Whatever palette, and when I look into this one, it just screams like berry looks to me. I just love a good dark, vampy, like berry look and like a nude lip. I just feel like it's so pretty, and this one has this really nice berry shade right here, but you kind of had those red tones as well. It does have a few glitters in here, which I feel like, you know, if you want to go for like a yellowy glitter, this one is really pretty. But even this shade right here, the first one, is absolutely beautiful on the eyes. I just think this is a really well thought out color story. I think it's very beautiful, and I feel like all the looks I've created with this I just absolutely love, so I know that's one I'm going to be reaching for as well. And then another palette that I know probably a lot of you have that you wouldn't typically think of as a fall palette, but this one is really, really very fall. This is the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and when you open this, like 90% of this palette is neutral. So this palette, I feel like you could create any look you wanted to for fall. Like honestly, you could like do without all of these palettes and just have this one, and I feel like you could create so many fall looks with this one because it's so large and because you have such a variety in here. So again, you have those darker reds, so if you want to do like a more like plum red type of eye, you have those, and then you have your more orangey shades over here, you have your neutral browns. Even if you wanted to get super smoky, you have a black, you have this really dark purple here. If you want to stay more in the lighter like neutral type of orangey look, you have that here. If you want to play with some purple, I know sometimes people love purple in the fall, you can do that as well. So, and you have the pinks, like you have everything you need in this palette, and the formula is really easy to work with. It's really nice on the eyes. So this is definitely one that I reach for all the time actually, and it's one that I recommend if you are looking to get into eyeshadow and you don't know what type of colors, what type of palette you want. This is one I highly recommend getting because I feel like you get so much variety in here and you can create so many different looks. Okay, moving along, talking about the berry tones that I like to use. So this one is from Dose of Colors, and this is their Blushing Berries palette. This is an all matte palette. A lot of the ones that I mentioned have shimmers in them, but this is actually an all matte. I love a good like matte eye look. I think if there's something just like soft and beautiful about that, and especially when it comes to the berry tones, I think that those are just really pretty. So this one kind of leans more towards like the smokier with the black there, but I feel like this one can just look so nice on the eyes, and again, super easy to blend out. Dose of Colors has one of my favorite matte formulas where you just barely have to like swipe them on the eyes, and I feel like they're just like perfectly blended, really easy to use. Also, the Baked Browns palette, I couldn't find that one. I own it and I cannot find it for the life of me. I literally searched for like 10 minutes trying to find it. That is another great one from Dose of Colors that I definitely recommend for the fall season. That one is a full palette full of matte browns, and I feel like that one would look just perfect if you're looking for like a brown smoky eye. That one is great as well. Okay, and then we have our last palette right here, which is the Modern Renaissance, and again, this is just one that I just love. for the berry tones. I feel like I keep saying like the orangey or the berries. Like that's what I typically go for. Obviously, any season you can do whatever type of look you want. Just because it's fall doesn't mean you have to stop wearing those blues or those purples or the silvers. I definitely go for, you know, whatever kind of makeup I'm feeling that day. I don't feel like I have to stick within the season or anything like that. But I do kind of lean more towards those bronzy type of looks when it does get to the season. And this one, it does really well at creating those, like I said, those berry tones or those orangey pumpkin-y type of looks. And again, great formula in this one. Mine is beat up. It looks quite messy, but I've had this palette for so long and it is so well loved. I took this one on my honeymoon with me. I've used it just so many like occasions that are so memorable to me, and I just love this palette. The brushes in these are pretty good too. Like I find myself using this blending brush a lot, and I like when brushes in palettes are actually like useful. Like I feel like I actually use them. But again, super pretty, very nice formula, very easy to use, and again, another favorite in my collection. Alrighty, you guys, I think that is all the palettes I have for you, all 10 of them. I hope you enjoyed seeing my collection of fall palettes and what I would recommend to you. Again, just because it's fall doesn't mean you have to get away from those other colors. This is just kind of a recommendation if you are looking for the berries, the browns, and the oranges, that type of vibe. I hope you found this video helpful. I will have every single one of the palettes linked down in the description box. So if you are wanting to shop any of them, you can head over there. Also, please make sure you go ahead and head over to Christina's channel. Again, she is such a sweetheart. I really adore her, and I love her channel. I know you guys will enjoy it too. So make sure you go over there, send her some love, tell her I sent you, and give this video a thumbs up if you like this type of video. I can definitely do it for the other seasons coming up. Like we could do a fall. We are doing a fall. We could do a winter or do summer, spring. Let me know if you want to see those. And again, thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye, friends.